and welcome to the channel, Gav Axeman Spins. Today's video is a tag, a very difficult tag, that's the name of the tag, set by young Brian over in Canada, in his basement with all his records, and he's fiendishly worked away to come up with a difficult tag. So no messing about with this one. You've had to think about what you show and how you do it. So without further ado, let us have a look at what young Brian has set. It was so difficult he didn't even have the courtesy to put the questions in the comments. You had to watch the video to kind of write them all down furiously. So the first question was something that means nothing to us folks in the UK. Show a CD long box. So in the US of A, when CDs first come out, the record stores wanted them in big long boxes, so the CD was there and then the rest of it was effectively empty cardboard, so that they could be stacked on the old vinyl shelving, save them having to buy new shelving. Didn't last long because of the sheer waste and extra cost, and then they replaced that for security with the infernal kind of sellotape, which had like the name of the CD on the top, so if you were looking down you could see what it was. And if you ever bought any CDs on import in the UK from America, it used to take about 3 days to actually get into them, so that didn't last long either. I think they were terrified of shoplifters. So I haven't got any CD long boxes, but I have got a very long CD box set, which is this one by Talking Heads. I think it's 3 CDs, a complete career overhead, and then a DVD that shows all the promos and that type of stuff. But nice little set this. It clips off, and then this is where I have to go widescreen. I look at the first page below, it's blank, but it kind of has writing and pictures. That's probably as good as I'll show it you. But CD box set, which is called Once in a Lifetime, which is indeed very long. So I think that ticks the first difficult question, Brian. You little devious so-and-so down in your dungeon. So there's that one. Then show question 2. A flexi-disc. Now flexi-discs, for those that don't know, are weird plasticky things that used to literally come in magazines and stuff like that, so the NME and things like that. So I haven't got many. I don't ever play them, so I'm never convinced they're gonna not kill your needle, but I have got one tucked away in an original copy of the debut album by Elastica, and it actually says on the sticker, nicely numbered there, includes booklet and flexi, and there is the flexi, there is the booklet, and the flexi, if I can get it out of the package, looks like so. So there you go, Brian. Not that difficult, a record with a flexi. So I think 2 out of 2 of this very difficult tag safely done. The next one, again, this was one a strange one. It was show a record with a time strip. So the record that Brian showed, I think in America on promo kind of things for DJs, they used to put a big white strip along the front of the record with the track times, so that when they were, you know, planning when they could go to the toilet and things, they could see how long the record had got left. Don't really have any of those, but I'll go one better. I've got a band and an album cover where they effectively decided to just make it one massive time strip. So if you look at that, band is Kasabian, the album was called 4813, which is the running time of it, and the cover is effectively the track times. Genius or incredibly lazy? Who knows, but yeah, that's that one. So time strip. Number 4, show a live CD at a gig you were at. So so back in the day, there was briefly a big thing that whenever you went to concerts, straight away after, a company called Concert Live would do like CDRs of the gigs, and there was another company called themusic.com that teamed up with some bands, and at the end of the concert there'd be a big flashy thing on the screen saying, if you want a live CD of this gig, go to this website and order it. So I went to see The Who at the Birmingham NEC, and that was, crikey, when was that? 2007. That's nearly 20 years ago. That's made me feel incredibly old. Great concert, and support band was Shack, so that was that one. And at the end of the gig it said, if you want a CD, go to this website. So that is said CD, Birmingham, UK, on the 22nd of May 2007. And given the due on this one, it had a nice little kind of insert. It's a proper CD, not one of those CDRs. You know, it's got all the colours and stuff, and track listing on the back, which was kind of like stamped a little bit like a bootleg. So good gig, decent sound quality on that as well. So and obviously I took the ticket inside, so that was a concert that I was at. I doubt very much if you can hear me. I was quite a long way back. My main recollection of the night was a very, very drunk man who was in the seat next to my wife, much to her displeasure, who got a bit overexcited at times. But no, say no more about that one. Okay, show an item, question 5, that you could not find on Discogs. So this is an item that wasn't on Discogs until I put it there, and I rarely do that because I really can't be bothered most of the time. So if there's something on Discogs that's not there, particularly if it's a new release, I just kind of wait for somebody else to do it. I'm a bit lazy like that. And if there's a slight variance and it's not a million miles away, I'll just copy that one. But back in the day, and for those that have been watching the channel keenly, you'll have noticed I've just done a big long video on the Manic Street Preachers, and one of my favourite albums is their debut. So it originally came out on a nice 18-track CD like this. It then in America came out slightly different. I don't know if you can tell the difference there, just slightly different things of the artwork, slightly different shades. But the big thing is when you look at the back, that's got 18 tracks. That's only got 14, and if you look very, very closely, there's a couple of changes. So Tennessee's on there, Democracy Coma goes on there. So yeah, so slightly different on that one. They still put repeat on it twice, which I never understood, but there you go. But the UK and the US. So that was the original CDs back in the day. They then, for its 20th anniversary, did a really nice box set. And there was a 2 CD and a DVD set, which is this one, which looks like that. And it's like one of those digi things that all folds out. And then there was a big box set which had like a reissue. I think it had the vinyl copy of the album, the CDs, and I think it had like a limited 10-inch or something like that. But it also had a 3rd CD, which, if you're keeping up with this, was not on there. And whilst at a little record fair, I came across this thing, which I've just thrown across the floor. So this is the promo. It's got all the sticky thingaboo you can write to for that big box set. And it basically has the 3rd CD in there, which is strange because the 3rd CD was all the B-sides and some rarities, whereas the 2nd CD that's in that one was the demos. And let's be honest, demos are okay, but you'd rather have the complete B-sides gathered together. So nice little set, came in this little placky wallet with some gumph like that, and that's that one. So that wasn't in Discogs until I put it there. Right, show question 6. Show a single on multiple formats. So excuse me. So again, if you've been watching the channel, last year I went through all my U2 collection, so I've just pulled out that. So there's the original 7-inch with obviously plain black label. There was also a 7-inch double pack, so that looks like so, and the slightly different labels that came on the Island label. They also did a 12-inch, which looked like so, down with the black labels. And then if you were being very, very extra, there was a limited 12-inch, which had the reissue of their first non-album single, 11 O'Clock TikTok, and its B-side Touch, produced by Martin Hannett of Joy Division fame, which came in a slightly different sleeve, a bluey kind of cover. And if you are in Completist Corner, there was also then a CD single. So I think 5 copies of one single, all slightly different, is more than enough, isn't it? But there you go, that one. So that's on all the formats I think that was available. Question 7, show a album and the singles from it. So the album I'm going to show is Suede's first album, which is behind me. So for those that are keeping up with the channel, the next ranking video for January will be the Suede catalogue. So part of that has involved me going and listening to the albums, but I've also had a sneaky listen to some of the wonderful B-sides, and I'm showing these because they are fabulous. So long before that album came out, they released 2 singles in 1992. So there's the debut, The Drowners. And what's fabulous about that one, which I'll try and show you, is the extra tracks on there. 2 of them weren't on the album, To the Birds and My Insatiable one. And I know when I read some of the reissue sleeve notes that I think they regretted, particularly My Insatiable one, not to put that on the album, and they could have maybe chopped the album a little bit round. But first single was that one. It was followed up by Metal Mickey, great kind of uniform artwork. And again, the B-sides here, Where the Pigs Don't Fly and He's Dead, could have gone on the album. So that's that. In 93 then came the 3rd single, which is Animal Nitrate, and this had again 2 brilliant B-sides called Painted People and The Big Time. All could have gone on the album, more than worthy. And the 4th and final single was my favourite track on the album actually, which is the opening track called So Young, and that had Dolly and another great track called High Rising, but 8 absolutely brilliant B-sides across those 4 singles. So if you're a Suede fan, get that. And most of them turn up on the Sci-Fi Lullabies B-sides compilation, but not all of them. So those original vinyl 12 inches and CD singles are still worth keeping. But I will give Suede the due. They reissue their albums and their catalogue all the time. So there is a 30th anniversary edition that has all the B-sides on it out there. So go and track them down. But great band. Great singles. Which is why you should never chuck anything out. Okay, so the next one was Show a Record with a CD included. So I chose this one because it's really nicely done. So the album is Biffy Clyro. Anybody? I don't know if they get much love on the VC these days, but they were briefly very massive in the UK. But this is their unplugged album. So you get the vinyl album as you would expect, posters and stuff. But on the inside cover, they very kindly give you the CD and the DVD, but have done it so it's packaged as part of the album, so you don't even notice it's there really. So it sits on your vinyl shelf as normal, but you've got the CD there should you wish to give it a spin. So can't knock that one. Right, 9, show a box set you've got on multiple kind of formats. So back in 1990 there was a massive reissue campaign of the Led Zeppelin box set called Remasters. So there was a 4 CD version, a 2 CD version. I think the 4 CDs version was just called Led Zeppelin, as they kind of tried to do, and then there was a 2 CD was called Remastered. So I'd got all the Led Zeppelin stuff on vinyl. I bought all the CDs, so I was a bit like, oh, not really that fussed about getting that. And then I had a friend who played it and played some of the couple of the unreleased tracks on it, and I thought, oh, I missed out there. So when it first came out in a slightly revised format, I bought it in this kind of version, which is one of those nice kind of little digibooks with the thing. So that was fine. I then, though, when doing the rounds, spotted a very cheap big 4 CD box set. So that's that version. So which I think you'll all agree that's a bit more impressive than that, isn't it? But then, as is the want, I always wanted the vinyl version, so I eventually bought the 6 LP version, and that's one of the greatest box sets ever done. Sounds wonderful, the vinyl's brilliant, but the CDs are great. What's nice about it, it's really nicely compiled as well, so it's a good listen. So highly recommend that. But yeah, I've only got it 3 times, so I think that's probably more than enough, isn't it? Right, question 10 of 11. Show a song with your name on it. So for those that know me a little bit well, you may not know though I have 4 names. So so my name is, I'll give you the first one, Gavin, and then I have Gavin do. So one of them is this one, and if you look there, Teenage Fan Club, the single was called Norman 3, and Norman is one of my 3 other names. Where it is, I'll let you guess, but yeah, if you follow me on Facebook, you'll know what it is. But there you go. So Teenage Fan Club with the wonderful Norman 3 from there. I think that was from the 13 album. So that's that. And then finally, on this devilishly difficult one, Brian said, show an album with the first ever song you remember hearing. So for the life of me, I can't remember what the first ever song that I was hearing. I'm sure if I asked my mom, she would say something very embarrassing like the Bay City Rollers. But there's one album that whenever I hear it, I go back to being a very young child, and that would be Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, particularly side 1 and 2. I think my parents had never really got to sides 3 and 4 on this, but Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding, I kind of instantly transported back to the 1970s, and the title track, which I think is Open Side 2, it's one of those songs that's kind of ingrained in my brain. So Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and that would conclude Brian's devilishly difficult tag. Well done to Brian for doing it. I've watched 1 or 2 others and then I stopped, but it's provided some very good responses, so hope you enjoyed that. Gav Axman signing out. The next video will probably be the Suede ranking video. Thank you for watching. If you have made it thus far and enjoyed what you see, if you're already a subscriber, please leave a comment, that's great, I always reply. If you're not subscribed, if you would mind awfully doing so, be great. Still a new channel, still in the first year, all support is welcome. So thanks for setting the questions, Brian, and we'll see you on the next one.